Namaste. It is my honor to guide you through your practice here today.
Welcome to your somatic yoga fusion practice. I invite you just to come on down onto your mat in a comfortable position if you're not there already. Maybe you've been resting for some time. Either way, just scanning down the body, noticing if you want any props to help support underneath the knees, underneath the head, maybe coming into a restorative pose if that is your preference, or just starting to maybe scan down the body from the crown of the head, slowly working your way down to the tips of the toes to notice if there's any adjustments that can be made to find or help you to find more comfort. If you're on your back, you might just gently roll the shoulders one at a time in towards one another and down away from the ears, just feeling a little more opening and expansion around the chest and heart space. If the legs are long, you might take the heels to the corners or rather edges of the mat, about hip distance or a little wider, just again, whatever's comfortable in your body. The feet maybe just turning gently outward as the legs grow more relaxed and heavy. And then finally, just checking in with the neck, maybe a very slight tuck of the chin to feel length through the back and sides of the neck without congesting the throat or the hollow of the throat, nice and open and spacious. After your next exhale, let's draw a nice long, slow breath in through our noses, filling up through the chest, the ribs, and the belly. Maybe hold if it's comfortable to do so. And when you're ready, part through the mouth and just let out a big sigh or the breath out in your own way. Ha. At the end of that exhalation or after your pause, again, take another big deep breath in. Maybe hold and slowly let it go. Ha. You can do that as often or as many times as you like. And then when you are ready, just starting to let go of any doing and become the seer, the observer of the body breathing. And just continuing to follow the breath as it enters in through the nose, the temperature, maybe feeling the breath in the nasal cavity or the back of the throat. And again, just continuing to pay attention with your whole awareness on your breath, the body breathing you, where our bodies expand as we breathe in and where it softens and contracts as we exhale. Body growing heavier with each out breath. Giving ourselves the opportunity to fully arrive on our mats, in our practice, in the space, and strengthening our mind-body connection. And that involves not changing anything necessarily, but also a good time for introspection and contemplation. So as thoughts, sensations, emotions at times may arise, we observe without judging it, without labeling it as good or bad. It's okay. The mind will wander. When we're ready, we gently bring awareness back to whatever anchors us to the present moment. And maybe it is the breath, the body breathing. Maybe it's a blank slate behind the mind's eye that you anchor your awareness to, or displays of shadow and light or color. Taking 2 more rounds of breath, maybe feeling a little more filling up sensations of the abdomen as we breathe in now. If that's available, to activate the diaphragm, abdomen expands as we inhale and softens as we exhale. And then when we're feeling ready, let's just begin to bring little movements into the fingers and the toes. And you can relax the fingers and toes or keep them moving as we start to gently rock the head from side to side, just massaging out through the back of the skull. Maybe beginning even to move with breath here, inhaling as we bring the head to center and using the full exhale to fuel our movement as the chin drops over to one shoulder. Just noticing how the neck feels. And again, that massage to the back of the skull, the brain just relaxing heavy towards the earth. And then we'll bring that head back to center and start to zip the legs in, or if the knees are bent, you might feel like extending them now. We'll send the arms up overhead. Pull your low belly in as we reach and lengthen. The legs might zip in to touch. The arms or hands might connect in some way, or maybe they're apart, just whatever feels good in your body. If the arms are reaching overhead, draw the shoulders down away from the ears, but continue to reach through the fingers. Try to keep a micro bend in the elbows, though, so we're not hyperextending. And then start to add a flexion through the heels while maintaining softness to the knees. And notice what happens with the spine and the rib cage. Good. Let's point through the toes towards the bottom edge of the mat and then flex through the heels. Just notice your body gently rocking. Again, the eyes might remain closed here, or anytime it feels good, just reminding yourself to re-close down through the eyes, especially when we're on the mat and we don't have to worry about balancing. Now let's begin to flex through one heel and reach the opposite toes through extension. So like we're pedaling through the legs, and just start to notice how the hips, the rib cage shifts and changes, where you feel a little more space and where you feel a little less space in your body. Good. And then when you're ready, come on back to stillness. Relax the arms and legs as they are. Let the elbows drop out to the sides wider, about shoulder height. Lift the head if it's comfortable. Bring the hands to clasp with the palms up underneath the back of the skull. And then we'll take a bend into the knees, bring the soles of the, or rather inner edges of the feet together, adjust through the back body if needed. Take a big breath in. And use your exhale, that full exhale, just to slowly drop the knees away from one another, moving into our Baddha Konasana, or bound angle pose. Maybe the soles of the feet come together, maybe they touch in some way. You might want to use your blocks underneath the outer thighs if this is intense and you can't really relax your body. If you have to hold tension in the body or muscular contraction here to find comfort, then use your props. We want to find a place where our bodies can begin to release. Relax back through all the muscles of the face, including the eyes. And we'll focus on our belly breath. Inhaling, abdomen expands. Exhale, abdomen softens. Gently bringing some awareness to your heart space here to inquire within, to set an intention for your practice today. You already know what it is you need the most, so just by taking a moment to listen mindfully, maybe a word arises, maybe it's a visualization, maybe it's a concept. Setting your intention for today's practice by repeating your I or I am statement to yourself 1 to 3 times as though you believe it to be true. Maybe it's I'm here, Maybe it's something like I honor my body and flow with ease. Maybe it's something like I am enough. Whatever it is, just repeating it to yourself. Feeling your body heavy, the breath flowing with ease. Continuing to soften and release tension and things that we're holding that are heavy and don't serve us with each exhale. Take 3 more belly breaths here. At the end of your third exhale, just taking your time, maybe releasing the arms from under the head. We might just kind of sweep them down so the fingers come down towards the outer thighs, and then drawing the knees in towards one another, maybe by support of the hands. Let's just heel toe the feet wide to the width of the mat. Turn the big toes slightly in and allow the knees to drop in towards one another again. It might feel good just to lift the low back and tilt the pelvis into a more neutral position before releasing it down. I like to add the counter pose to internally rotate through the limbs. So we'll float the arms up towards the sky as well over the chest and wrap one arm underneath, walking the fingers in towards opposite shoulders, but allowing there to be space between the chin and the arms. Not gripping so tightly that we can't take those rhythmic deep breaths in and out. And on our next inhale, we'll float the arms back towards the sky. And as we exhale, bring the opposite arm underneath again, just wiggling those fingers in. Taking a few rounds of breath with this internal rotation through the shoulder joints and hip joints. Just be reminded you can stay longer in poses, you can come out sooner. This is your practice. I'm simply here to guide you. So it's not a one size fits all. No pose is, no movement is. So just honoring where you're at, honoring your physical body, emotional, spiritual, and mental. We'll inhale, float those arms back up towards the sky and just mindfully allow them to come on down to the sides. Maybe turning the palms down towards the earth, wiggle those shoulders back in, adjust the neck. We'll heel toe the feet back now into about hip distance apart so the heels are below the knees. And again, just make sure that neck is nice and comfortable. Take a nice big breath in through the nose as we exhale. Just press the lumbar spine as we just curve the pelvis, peeling the tail away. So just a pelvic tilt and then release. And exhaling to tilt the pelvis. So just again, feeling those vertebrae around the lumbar spine connect. And as we release the sacrum and tail, it might peel slightly away. On this next one, we're going to exhale to peel again and continue to press into the feet and lift the hips up towards the sky to find a full bridge pose, making sure that you're not feeling any weight or pressure through the cervical spine or the vertebrae of the neck. So if that's happening, come on down and add maybe something soft underneath the head. Good. Now press down into the heels and then think of the heels pressing away. You might kind of feel the shoulders and the crown start to slide up, but anchor down through those shoulder blades. Feel the quads engage and try to soften your glutes. You might lift the baby toes away from the mat. So really anchoring down through, again, the heels and the mound of the big toe, as well as maybe the big toe themselves. Find your breath. Even it out, slow it down, lengthen it out. One more inhale, maybe lift the hips a little higher as you breathe in, and then use that full exhale, keeping the knees stacked over the heels to slowly release one vertebrae at a time the best you can. So maybe curving the pelvis until we release that sacrum down again, just aware of the lumbar spine peeling away. Take a breath in and out here just as you are. And then let's bring the arms wide. So the knees are still bent, the feet are still planted, the arms are wide. Palms can be up or down. Find a little softness to the elbows. Good. Take a nice big breath in with the feet about hip distance. We'll exhale, drop the knees to the right. Chin softens over to the left. And we're going to move with breath. So just really flowing with your own breath and your own rhythm. Inhale to center. Exhale to opposite sides. Again, just really paying attention of how when the knees drop to the right, the left side of the ribs lift away from the body. Noticing everything about the changes and transitions in your body, how everything's interconnected. So very similar to traditional yoga when we're focusing on somatics, we're focusing more on that mind-body connection and again, that interconnectedness of everything. Let's flow through one more time on each side. Again, maybe the eyes are closed here. And then we'll bring everything back to center. We'll just pause in the position that we're in, maybe turn the big toes in if you'd want to let the legs kind of relax a little bit more. But just being aware of any sensations you feel on the surface of your body, still in tune with anything, information, data, or senses are bringing in, but those things become in the backdrop of our awareness as we maintain that deeper inner awareness of not only what we feel on the surface of our skin, the tips of our fingers, palms of the hands, but also just what lies beneath the surface of our being. Noticing what you sense in the hollow of your body. Good. One more big breath in and out. And then we'll begin to heel toe the feet back into about hip distance apart. Slowly draw one knee and then the other in towards the abdomen, maybe taking the hands to the shins or behind the knees. And let's just explore any movement here that feels good. Maybe we're just rocking from side to side and paying attention to the massage sensation we feel. The body part connected to the surfaces beneath us, or maybe we're drawing figure eights or circles in the same or opposite directions. And just slowing things down, keeping that less is more mentality, knowing that this will help to, again, deepen, strengthen that mind-body connection, be more aware of what's going on in our bodies. Good. Let's come on back to stillness. And if you like, send the arms and legs up towards the sky, keeping the sacrum and the shoulder blades grounded. Maybe roll out a few times in each direction through the wrists and ankles. It doesn't matter where you start, just reversing any direction that you take, finding your own range of motion, noticing any unsmooth movement and just trying to smooth it out, maybe with modifying or just being more mindful and slow. Let's bring our wrists and ankles to stillness and just kick the hands and arms out. Let the ankles and wrists kind of flop around like a little slow temper tantrum. And then pause and just again, eyes closed, notice sensation you feel in your body. One more breath in. Use your exhale to float the arms down, nice and slow. Breathing in with the legs still lifted, and that next exhale will bend the knees and slowly lower one foot at a time. Good. Let's gently press into the feet to slide the hips to one edge of the mat. And we're going to make our way onto one side of the body. So we're going to be moving from here, but let's just come into that fetal position, pausing here, maybe supporting the head with the lower arm. The upper hand might just be in front of the chest to support, finding your balance here. Finding your breath. Good. Now what we're going to do is start to lengthen the arm that the right arm might extend. And we're going to bring the left hand arm to a bend, taking the left hand to the back of the skull. So initially we might bend the right elbow just to rest the head on if you want to kind of look up to see what we're going to be looking like. Now, if the hips are forward, we want to just bring them back so that we're in a straight line from the shoulders to the hips, and the knees are bent. You can stay with the head supported by the arm, or any point in time you can relax that arm and the head down on the arm. So the left hand's at a bend, the left hand at the back of the skull. I'm going to demonstrate starting from down on the mat. So I'm extending my bottom arm, resting the head. We're going to take a nice big breath and engage the core. As we exhale, we're going to lift the left ankle away from the right and reach the left elbow towards the ankle. And then we're going to lower as we breathe in. Take that little pause in the space between the breath, using your exhales to bring the ankle and elbow toward one another, and our inhales to slowly come on down. So it's very controlled, mindful movement. And again, once we get in the rhythm and we know the movement that we're taking, just being aware of what happens in the body as we contract through the obliques to bring the elbow and ankle towards one another, more space through the right side of the body, may anchor heavily down. And as we lower, everything just softening. Can you really relax all the muscles of the body when you come down in that space between the breath, or slow it down even more to take a breath before exhaling and coming up? Noticing what muscles need to contract, where we can relax. Good. Now, the next time we come up on our exhale, we're going to continue to breathe and hold the pose, breathing in and out for 3, for 2, and 1. And again, nice and slow and controlled. Come on back down. Let the left arm come down to rest the hand at the hip. Close down through the eyes. Make sure the head's feeling supported. And just continue to observe, focusing on relaxing all the muscular tension and contraction in your body, slowing the breath down if it's become quick, and just observing what arises. Again, there's no right or wrong. Good. When you're ready, we're going to extend that bottom arm again, still resting the head down. That arm can be extended, and we're going to straighten the upper leg. So straighten through the left leg. Good. Now we're going to float the left arm up overhead once again. This time straight, so the fingers might make contact just overhead, or they might just kind of float. Good. We're going to take an exhale here. And as we inhale, we're going to reach the left leg forward and roll the chest open as we reach the left arm behind us. And then we're going to exhale back to center. So again, just moving with breath, these slow, controlled movements. The eyes might remain closed. You can touch the foot and hand down, or you can keep it floating. Just trying to relax the best you can in between sets. Rolling the chest open, finding your range of motion again, but not so far that you feel it in the back of the body to bring you back. And if that's happening, make sure you engage the core to help bring everything back to center. Good. One more time. And then once we come back, relax into a comfortable position. Close down through the eyes and just observe. Slow your breath. Relax any tension through the jaw, the eyes, and the brow. Good. So we're going to move in the opposite way. Is exhale all the way. And inhale, reach the left leg behind and roll forward as we reach the left arm forward. So just the opposite way and just getting into a rhythm. Exhaling to come back to center and inhaling to reach. Again, just notice how the head rocks. Notice where you have rigidity and where you can soften and just kind of let other parts of the body flow in unison with where the movement's coming from. And you can take little breaks in between sets as long as you like, or continue to flow with breath. Good. Again, notice where you feel more space in your body as you reach and lengthen. And what softens as you come back to center right away, and what needs a little more effort to soften. One more time. And then we'll come back to where we started, or adjusting to a comfortable position. If it's not comfortable enough, just to pause. Notice again where you're still holding tension. If you're clenching through the right glute or hip, is it to prevent discomfort or pain somewhere? Can you make an adjustment? Or can you just really settle in and take a few rounds of breath? Focusing on, again, whatever arises. Good. After an exhale, let's bring that left arm hand in front of the chest, and we'll slowly peel ourselves up. If you want to come over to the other side in a different way, you're welcome to. I'm going to come over and swing myself around. So whatever way you'd like to be facing. So we can repeat that on the opposite side. Again, you can rest the left temple right down on the arm. The arm can be bent or extended. Maybe the right hand starts at the hip, but we'll start by bringing the hips in alignment, straight line from the shoulders to the hips, both knees bent to begin. Taking a few rounds of breath as we settle into this pose in preparation. And again, this is how we retrain our bodies how to relax. So as we go through life and experience all the things, trauma to different degrees over time, sometimes we hold unresolved emotion as tension in the body. Our muscles get in the habit of staying contracted. And with time, our tissues start to break down. So by practicing somatic mindful movement, we retrain our muscles to relax, as well as our nervous system, as again, it's all interconnected. So we'll start by bringing the right arm hand to the back of the skull with a bend in the elbow. We keep the knees together, take a big breath in as we exhale, just bring the elbow and the ankle towards one another. And we'll start to flow with our breath. And again, it's nice and controlled movement. So as slow as you need to, slowing the breath down. Maybe finding that full resting position once we come down. And noticing those obliques working through the right side of the body, the ribs coming a little closer together, the intercostals, how the left side of the body or lower side, if you're on the opposite side, presses down and makes more contact as we lift up. Does the left arm contract and support as we lift? Good, just a couple more rounds. And last one, this time we'll hold. Keep breathing. For one more breath in, and we'll use our exhale to come on down. We'll stay in our fetal position, but maybe just slowly float that all the way down to rest the palm at the hip. Relax the shoulder. Find your breath. Yes, notice again where tension starts to kind of linger away or melts away and where it kind of hangs on a little, where there's resistance and letting go, as well as where the body lets go first or initially. Okay, so we're going to start to extend the upper leg now. Float the right arm back up towards the head. We're going to press our exhale out. And then we're going to bring the right leg forward and the right arm back, kind of rolling the chest open. Does the head make contact to the mat or does it float? So exhale to come back to center this time. Inhale to reach. And as we open up, we are reaching the fingers and toes in opposite directions. Of course, not with full force, honoring our bodies, not bringing ourselves into a point of pain. And again, if you get the movement going and you lose the breath, maybe you pause or maybe you just incorporate it back in when you're ready. Good. One more time. And then just come to rest. Let the arm maybe drape over the head, or if you feel the need to bring it down for a moment for a few rounds of breath or roll it out. If I don't offer specific movements that you feel like you want to take, listen to that. Listen to your body, listen to that intuition. Trying to relax any areas of tension as we just come back to being the seer, observing. And if the arm is at the hip, we'll float it back up if you're incorporating the arm. Good. The upper leg is straight. We'll exhale. And this time we'll roll the chest forward as we reach the right arm out front and the right leg behind. Again, just getting into that rhythm of movement with breath. Once you get the rhythm, if the eyes are open, I do encourage you to close them down anytime it feels good and right. Making sure, again, you engage the core if you feel this in the back, so we're not forcefully throwing our bodies into positions. Very mindful, controlled, and slow. Just 2 more sets. Last one. And then we'll come on back. You can just bend both knees to stack if you like, floating the upper arm back down to rest at the hip. Or take movement to find stillness, find your breath. Notice how your body feels, if any areas are speaking to you. And always checking in to see if there's any areas we can soften, those habitual areas of tension. We're retraining ourselves to relax, release, and let go. And if and when you're ready, on an exhale, we'll press the upper arm into the floor now and slowly transition our way up. Maybe grab a sip of water once you're up, and we're going to meet in a seated cross-legged pose. If you like to have something under your bottom here to support your pelvis and spine, go right ahead. Otherwise, just crossing through the legs, maybe pulling the fleshy bits back and away. Pulling the low belly in to sit up tall. I like to give a little wiggle just to remind ourselves to find some ease. Sometimes we take everything so literally and we're trying so hard. We want to find that balance of stability and ease in each posture in our yoga practice. Good. Just find your breath as you lengthen the crown up towards the sky. The legs are falling heavy towards the earth, and we're feeling grounded and connected to the Great Mother beneath us. As the crown lengthens up towards the sky or the heavens, That low belly gently pulling in, the shoulders relaxing down. Find your breath. Relax your jaw, relax your tongue. Notice how you feel. Take a nice big breath in. As we exhale, gently turn the chest towards the right knee, lower the chest towards the knee, glide over to the left. Really open up through the right side of the rib cage as we roll back, the spine expands. So just really starting to exaggerate this movement. Maybe as the chest comes to the right knee, the left shoulder really rolls in and then it pulls back as the right shoulder rolls forward. So we're just becoming really aware of our movement. Maybe we rock a little on the sit bones. Maybe they lift and shift. Again, we pay attention to where we feel like we're opening space up, moving with breath in your own rhythm and time. We'll go one more time in this direction. And of course, if you feel like you need to keep the eyes open at a gentle gaze for this, go right ahead and keep them open. When it feels right, we'll reverse in our own way, in our own time. Again, just getting that rhythm going in the opposite way. And just a couple more rounds. Once you feel like you're evened out on both sides, we'll just come on back to stillness again. Close the eyes if it's available. And if it's not, just take a gentle gaze down towards or beyond the top edge of your mat. Relax the shoulders down. Pay attention to what surfaces for you here. Notice if there still seems to be like an internal sensation or vibration of movement as we come to pause. Good. And then very gently, maybe fluttering the eyes open. Pausing to find your drishti or focal point. Adjusting to the light. We're going to move into pranayama, somatic breathing exercise. So at first, if you like, we'll just lean into the arms, reverse the folding of the legs, come back to our bottoms. So let's bring the arms to a bend, just relaxing the elbows, kind of bouncing them out a little bit to remind ourselves to soften the shoulders. We have a little clasp through the hands. And what this is going to look like is slowly lifting through the arms, and as we do, opening the palms to send the arms up to wherever they'll reach. And then on the exhale, it's forceful, and we can release through the nose or the mouth like this. Okay, so it's like this big filling up breath in, so it's more controlled. But then the exhale, it's just a release. Okay, so we're going to get into that breath, and it's going to be, we're not going to do it together because we all are going to be breathing a little bit different. So just start to breathe with your elbows dropped to the sides. Find your own rhythm. We'll start together, but then we'll just continue on. We're going to move through about 10 to 20 breaths, okay? So shoulders relaxed, low belly pulled in, crown tall, jaw relaxed. Exhale all the way. And when we're ready, we'll breathe in, fill up, and exhale. And just go at your own pace now. If you need to pause sooner, pause sooner. Let it go. Wherever you are, 3 more. Once you stop, Let the palms rest on the thighs, stay closed through the eyes, and stay present. Slow your breath, lengthen it out. Notice what surface is here. Good. Again, if and when you're ready, just slowly fluttering the eyes open, finding your drishti, feeling yourself back in the space. Good. We're going to reach back with the arms now. You can keep the legs crossed or you can bring the soles of the feet together. You can experiment. So if you just feel like the need to release the legs, maybe you want to try in your bound angle. Turn the fingertips towards the hips. So we're kind of leaning back, but we're not pushing the ribs forward. We're keeping the low belly in to keep that low and mid back protected, but the upper chest might open as we draw the shoulder blades together. The fingers might kind of angle out. Maybe they point forward. So again, legs crossed or not, low belly in, take a big breath out, and then inhale, push into the outer edges of the feet and lift the bottom and the legs, maybe dropping the head back. Stay lifted, or you can lower and lift if it doesn't feel good to stay lifted. Take a few rounds of breath. If there's any issues with the neck, you can keep the chin tucked. Lift those hips, lift those psoas muscles towards the sky. One more inhale. Slowly lower the hips as we exhale, tucking the chin as we do. Pause for breath in and out, still leaning back into the arms. Take as much time as you need here. And then slowly, slowly, slowly walk your way up, maybe taking the hands to either side of the hips or just resting the hands at the ankles or feet in some way. Maybe you root back down through your sit bones. But again, we're just going to pause, close your eyes, observe. You might feel kind of a surge of energy through that front line of the body as we opened up pretty deep there. Coming back to center and feeling really grounded and rooted once again. Just observing. Good option to stay or bring those soles of the feet together if they're not already together with the knees wide. Let's just start to flap the legs. Keep your breath slow and rhythmic as we get a little more vigorous in our movement. And don't worry, if you get out of sync with the legs, one might kind of move in a different way. Maybe they come back to moving in a coordinated way from time to time. You might close the eyes, maintaining that slow rhythmic breath so we're not breathing quickly. After an exhale, relax the legs and stay present to observe. Good. Once again, we're going to flap. So keep that rhythm of breath going and begin to just lift and lower in a vigorous way through the legs. Breath easy and slow. Not overthinking it. Noticing that's usually when things get a lot more messy. And I find that seems to happen in life as well. And after an exhale, relax and stay present. Slow your breath. Good. Now, option from here to release the fingers just in front of the shins. Pull that low belly into sit a little taller as we breathe in. And as we exhale, stay long through the spine as we begin to just move to a slight forward fold. So before the spine rounds, Pause, maybe 10th of fingers. Take another breath in. You can either stay more active, neutral through the spine, or on your next exhale, you can just round out passively. Maybe the forearms touch, maybe they float like mine. Maybe you're using the hands and arms to support in some way. Just rounding the shoulders forward if they will, opening up the heart space through the back of the body. Notice the head. Are you holding tension? Can you drop it down? Maybe adding a little bit of movement, rocking from side to side to find a little, again, more tension release. Thinking of all the stresses and worries we carry in our physical bodies. Good. Bring the head back to stillness. Take another big breath in. Hold it and let it go. Ha. Good. Slowly walk the hands back towards the body as we restack the vertebrae coming up. We'll bring the legs in towards one another and begin to adjust ourselves. So if you want another sip of water, grab that. We'll scoot our bottoms down towards so the feet come towards the bottom edge of the mat in preparation to come on down. We will use some core work unless you want to come down in your own way. So we'll start in Dandasana staff position. Let's grab our block. So squeeze that one of those blocks, they're more narrow width between the legs or whatever's comfortable for you, what feels hip distance. So we're squeezing to hold the block into place, adding a little flexion, but keeping a micro bend in the knees. And we might feel the need again to pull the fleshy bits back in a way, especially if we're kind of rounded here. Pull the low belly in and know that that'll come with time and practice too if you're not quite there. Send the arms forward, roll the shoulders back, palms face one another. And again, the joints are soft. We're hyperextending the joints. We're putting our nervous system in that state of fight or flight. So softening the elbows helps to bring more, again, ease, right? We're always striving for more relaxation and ease. So the legs are engaged, the arms are engaged, our core is engaged to help protect our back body and stay tall. Take one more breath in. Squeeze that block between the inner thighs and begin to roll down. You can use your hands at any point in time. You can bend the knees. We're going to pause on our inhales, re-engage the core. Exhale, lower a few inches, and just continue until, I like to say, you get to the point of no return. And that's going to be different for all of us. Once you are down, no rush. Just bring the arms up overhead and give yourself a nice gentle lengthening stretch. So the ribs aren't popping away from the mat, the navel's pulling back, and maybe we're flexing, maybe we're extending. Good. Let's keep the block there, arms overhead. Wiggle the heels to the bottom right edge of the mat. So the legs are still active. And then lift the shoulders, head, and arms and reach them to the upper right corner of the mat. So we're reaching through both right corners of the mat, opening up through the left side of the body. We might take the left wrist into the right hand, just adjust the shoulders so they can relax. Notice what direction the head wants to turn to really soften and relax through the neck. And again, you can take the block out across the left ankle over the right if you prefer that variation. Offering different options today if you want to keep that block in place and a little more active through the legs. So notice where you can soften a little more. Are you lifting the ribs? Can you relax the rib cage? Are you lifting the left shoulder? Can you drop it down? Maybe the left elbow softening more, maybe both elbows softening more, just finding that place where you can fully relax unless you're engaging to keep the block in place. Find your breath, soften the eyes. Notice where space opening up through the left side of the body, and you might even imagine breathing into that left side of the body, just nourishing the intercostals and any areas of congestion with that fresh oxygenated air and blood. Good, nice and slow as you breathe. And next, we'll wiggle our way back to center. Maybe take a little stretch in the middle. And then we'll start to walk the legs to the bottom left. Maybe Lift the arms, head, and shoulders to release gently to the upper left. Maybe the right wrist comes into the left hand. Maybe you're using your block, maybe you're not. And again, just make sure the neck feels comfortable. What adjustments do you have to make to allow more surfaces of the back body to make contact to the earth beneath, so you can really find that surrender and slowing your breath down, relaxing the rib cage, feeling space now through the right side of the body. Good. After an exhale, we'll wiggle our way back to center. Maybe one more gentle stretch. So again, just making sure it's gentle, nothing too forced. And then we'll glide the elbows down to about 90 degrees or cactus arms at the sides. Again, the block could be removed, or maybe you keep the block there. Once the knees are bent, and just adjust the low back. We'll take a big breath in, and as we exhale, let the knees fall to the right, dropping the chin to the left. So again, maybe the block helps to align the hips and it feels good. Maybe it feels better without. Maybe it feels better to place underneath the right leg to support the legs. Just again, wherever we can just find that surrender and heaviness through the low body as we bring a gentle twist through the lower spine. Giving a little ring out again through a little deeper for some of those digestive organs. Nice and slow, bringing the head and the knees back to center. If you like to have that block, just bringing it over to the other side, but we'll pause in the middle, readjust, take our big breath in, and then use our exhale to allow the legs to fall left. Maybe the block or props are in a different position to support on this side, as we are usually quite different from one side to the other. So you're holding tension in the left or right hip or glute. Is the neck comfortable? Softening the jaw and the brow. Inhaling, abdomen expands. Exhaling, contracts. And again, after an exhale, we'll slowly start to bring ourselves back to center. Maybe drawing the knees in towards the chest and just exploring any final movement before we move into our final pose, Shavasana. Reversing any movement or direction you take. If you want to come back to stillness and just use your exhale to squeeze the thighs in towards the belly or ribs, feeling that extension through the back. And then as we inhale, letting the knees fall away and feeling more contact through the back body. Just a couple of times to find that final extension of the back. And then we'll release the soles of the feet down. Now, you can just spread out into Shavasana, or if you want to come into a more restorative pose, we can set up with the block under the head of our bolster and take time to set up. Or maybe there's a different position, laying on your side, or maybe a child's pose. The legs can be straight, they can be crossed, they can be back in that bound angle, or the knees can be bent. So whatever comfortable way you want to rest the legs. Wiggle the shoulders down, send the arms further away, and finally adjust to find that long, comfortable neck. Take a nice big breath in, filling up your whole torso with that breath. Hold it in or take an extra little sip at the top if you can. And you can release with one big sigh or a double sigh. Maybe doing that one or two more times in your own way, not being afraid to make audible sound, just letting it go. And when you are ready, surrendering back into this position, surrendering back into that organic ebb and flow of breath, surrendering back into the present moment and a state of being. Letting go of the desire, want for things to be different than they are right now, recognizing most of those things we can't control. Feeling the body progressively settle heavier and heavier. Letting go, letting go, letting go. You have it all. I was sitting at a camp in Washington's Olympic Forest talking to a young woman. We were both enjoying the day. People forget that life and death are both part of life, she said. They forget that young and old are both part of life. We live in a society that has everything separated. We live in a society that's forgotten the whole in holistic. The whole, all of it. Male and female, young and old, life and death, tears and joy, all parts of the whole. I want to have it all. We may have heard those words many times. We may have said them ourselves many times. I want to have it all. Connect the parts. You do have it all. You've had it all along. Just taking a few more rounds of breath here now. Maybe remaining still if it's comfortable. Noticing where your body makes contact to the surfaces beneath you. Acknowledging the support, stability, and strength of the Great Mother holding us here, the gentle force of gravity. Knowing you can stay in stillness and come out of your practice in your own way and in your own time. Always an option. If you are ready, I invite you just to begin to bring little movements back into your fingers and your toes. Maybe take a couple deeper rounds of breath if you've noticed it's become a little more shallow. And then start to build on that movement. Maybe you want to pull everything in. Maybe you want to plant the feet and rock those knees once again. Maybe you want to lengthen out long. So just exploring any movement that calls to you that will serve you best. And then again, just slowly and taking your time to make your way into a fetal position if you're ready. Pausing on one side of the body, maybe resting the head on the lower arm. While you're here, I invite you to revisit your intention, repeating it to yourself with conviction. Noticing how you feel, all the layers, not just in your physical body. And then very slowly, again, only if you're ready, maybe you want to stay here for a while, come on up and we'll meet in Sukhasana, simple seated pose, maybe crossing through the legs and just taking a moment to reroute. We return to the moment, our breath. And if you'd like to join me, bringing the hands together for Anjali Mudra at the heart, maybe making contact with the thumbs to the sternum. Shoulders are relaxed, the jaw is unhinged, and the breath is flowing. Soaking in the benefits of our practice that go beyond our physical bodies. The light within me sees and honors the light within each of you. Namaste.
If you enjoyed today's practice, please be sure to like and subscribe.